Whenever I hear someone talking about the Acura NSX and how it's so much technology for the money and it's so ahead of its time and yada yada yada, I'm like, C8 Corvette.
Right.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Gear Glazers. I'm Kyle, and this is Mike, aka the Couch Commander. And
I like the sound of that.
And today we're continuing our series on JDM Legends Reborn, and we're talking about none other than the Acura NSX. Michael, please talk to me.
This car's grandpa is my favorite car of all time.
That's an amazing car. The original NSX is like arguably, you're talking collecting cars, that's like one of the coolest cars of all time.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah. And the car club that I was in college, the dude who ran it had like this purple one with this giant wing. The thing was so cool. It was so notorious.
What color were the rims? Don't say black.
Either silver or gold. Memory doesn't serve me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take those.
No, it was a crazy clean build.
I love the purple car with the white rims.
Yeah.
That goes crazy.
Yeah. White rims really fell off, but they were hot for a minute there.
Oh yeah, I think they're coming back.
Really?
Honestly, you heard it here first.
White rims coming back?
White rims are coming back.
Oh, baby. Let me go buy back my 300ZX from the junkyard.
Where is that thing, dude? That thing's...
It's probably iPhones and you know, Coca-Cola cans by now.
Oh, no. Okay, so before I get into this car, I've got some opinions on it.
Yep.
I just do want to take a second to talk about like how we got here. Again, Acura NSX. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, when you say Acura NSX, I see the red Honda badge. You know the little red Honda badge?
Yep.
The OG? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was the Honda NSX, and then at some point, Honda decided that it didn't want any nice cars anymore. So it made Acura, and it took away all the pop-up headlights.
These nice cars are just ruining our brand.
Yeah, we have a product line, and we're going to maintain it. So, yeah, that car came out, and the story of it is insane because it came out and it was immediately competing with some of the craziest cars of all time. If you think about like the late 80s, early 90s Italian supercars, oh my god, dude, those are some of the coolest cars of all time. Like the Lamborghini Diablo, the Ferrari Testarossa. NSX shows up and is like, yeah, half the price, you can buy it at your local Honda dealership and it's gonna blow those things out of the water.
So we're going to do an episode on the original NSX because it's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
But for the purpose of this episode, like, it's worth noting, like Michael said, it's a legend. It was a supercar killer. Like, you've heard this thing tossed around about the C8 Corvette. Like, this is where that term came from.
Yeah.
The NSX. This is not that.
No.
Like, this is just this. This is a sports car. That's what this is.
I think we're about to agree on this car.
Yeah, I'm going to have to change up my whole flow there.
I think we're legitimately about to agree because, look, I love the NSX, but I think they just departed from way too many things here. And I think that this is, once again, one of the things I hate when automotive car companies do this, but it's a halo car for the sake of having a halo car. This is literally a showcase of technology without actually understanding why that technology should exist in the first place.
Something's happening in Japan that I don't understand. We gotta get to the bottom of this. Like they're just making sports cars that suck, are way too expensive, are not selling, and these are like the biggest car manufacturers on earth.
Something's happening in Japan that I don't understand is the craziest bar I've ever heard in my life.
It is like I'm just every episode this sucks. Next, this sucks. Like, what's going on?
Oh man. I think they competed in the pony car race, but I think they just got outpaced and they no longer wanted to do that. I think they as American and German cars kept stepping up their speed and their horsepower, and optimizing for track times. Japan just wanted no part of that. I think the companies as a whole focused on the economy car market. They focused on, commercial vehicles, and economy vehicles, and they left all of their sports car heritage kind of like as this. They concentrated into a few cars here and there, but mostly it was just a non-focus for the entire industry. So I think that's how we ended up here with the third generation Acura NSX.
Third,
right? Because the first gen would be the
okay,
pop-up
okay.
headlights. The second gen would be that early 2000s one.
Yeah, you're right.
And then this one.
I'm like seriously debating if they like know how to make sports cars anymore. And like I don't even mean that in a funny way. It's like I'm like, no, this is Toyota we're talking about. This is Honda we're talking about. Like, yes, they know how to make a sports car, but I'm actually racking my brain. Like, did they forget?
Yeah. No, I mean it's a concerted business effort not to, I think.
That's wild. Well, you mentioned this in the Z episode, but like, well, first of all, the problem with this car's price. I had the same problem with the Z.
Yeah.
And I think like a common, and one of our older investors, I forgot who it was, but for our first company, Launder, told us that value is like pricing is always a value issue.
Yeah.
If someone has a problem with how much a product costs, it just means that they don't see the value.
Yeah.
And the example he gave us is if I asked you, hey, do you have $1,000 to spare? And you said, no, I don't have that on me. And I said, okay, well, what about buying this Ferrari? You'd always have it on you.
Right.
Like, you will always come up with the money if you see the value.
Right.
And that's what this thing is lacking. I don't want to say that this is a bad car because I think that is what I was about to say. And that's just not true.
No.
This is a terrible deal. Like, that's what this is.
You know, it's not so easy for me when it comes to the value because, again, similar to the Nissan Z, I think this car has a lot of really, really great components to it. It's not tunable because you're not going to tune a hybrid car, but the reality of it is, for the same price as an Audi R8, where you're getting just a V10 to the rear wheels and a Volkswagen interior, you're getting something that's a little more handcrafted. You're getting a very powerful engine, you're getting 2 electric motors, you're getting a ton of technology in this thing. And it's obvious that the company themselves only made a couple of them compared to like an Audi R8. So it's the value is there. Like the actual like bones of it are there. They're just arranged in a way that doesn't really make sense for who this market is for.
So, in this series, like, I keep comparing these Japanese cars to American cars.
Yeah.
I don't mean to do that on purpose, but like every single one of these has a perfect comparison. Whenever I hear someone talking about the Acura NSX and how it's so much technology for the money and it's so ahead of its time and yada yada yada, I'm like, C8 Corvette.
Right.
Like, if you were talking about this in a vacuum and this was the first car I'd ever seen, I'd be like, wow, this thing is sick. But then you got the C8 Corvette. And, like, I'm going to get into that a lot as we get into this episode, but, like, this thing's double the price.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the C8 Corvette did to this what the original NSX
yes.
did to Italian
yes.
supercars.
Literally. Like, how do you miss the mark that bad? The entire ethos of this thing is gone.
Yeah, it's just a halo car, dude. I don't think they intended to actually make a car that was for the enthusiast market. This is the Lexus LFA. This is something that is literally a piece of marketing.
Yeah, and you know what? The Lexus LFA also sucked when it came out. It's like $300,000.
Yeah.
When that thing came out, you were like, what? But it was cool later. I don't see how that's going to happen here, but maybe. I don't think this has the same bones that the LFA had, but I mean, another thing that made the LFA really, really dope and rare is the fact that they didn't sell them. That still applies here, so like maybe this will be rare and cool.
Yeah. I mean, the LFA looked a lot more crazy. I think another issue with this car is the understated design. When I'm in the market for like an absurd supercar, I'm kind of wanting something closer to what a McLaren looks like. I want something when somebody on the street sees it, they're like, what is that thing that's closer to spaceship than it is to car?
Literally.
And this just isn't that.
Literally.
This looks like a body kit on like a Acura Integra.
Seriously. I wanted to mention this. Like, we got a lot of comments, and whenever I talk about comments on this channel, like, we get some comments on the YouTube shorts, but like really we get obliterated with comments on the Instagram. Mm-hmm. And so I'm talking about Instagram when I talk about these comments, and a lot of people were saying like, oh, these are opinions from guys who have never driven these cars, or like, this is opinions from like a Wikipedia page, or like, I just needed to make this clear. Like, newsflash, you don't live in a vacuum, and normal people don't know and don't care. Like, I don't think most car people, I'm sorry, we just don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like the guy in the street, the lady on the street, they don't care about any of these fun facts.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything to them. And so a supercar, sports car for that matter, but a supercar as well, is more than numbers. Like, and honestly, this is going to be blasphemous. It's even more, supercar is even more than how it feels to drive. Like, and when a company spends so much time in the wind tunnel that they spend no time thinking about, like, what's this guy's friends going to think about this car? You've missed it. Like, a supercar's, like, when we as car people buy cars, sports cars, supercars, as evidenced by the copious amount of Glazers in our comments, like, it becomes a part of your identity.
Yeah.
So when we say something bad about a car that someone has, like, they take personal offense to that, as they should. It's what makes us car guys. Like, it's our identity.
And that's a reason why I think this, when it comes to cars in this price range, marketing actually does matter, because it's not like you're buying a $160,000 car because you're an enthusiast. This is something that is out of reach for 99.999% of the population. You're buying this car because it's a status symbol and because you want to show that you're about that. I have the means to get something that's special to me, and I'm going to align my identity with something. So if you're going to align your identity with something, you're going to go with something that's, maybe if you enjoy being loud and boisterous and powerful, you're going to get a Lamborghini. Maybe if you enjoy being sleek and understated, but still having a lot of potential, you get yourself like an AMG GT.
Yes.
Or something like that. This thing does not really have a population in mind for it. I think when it comes to marketing, when it comes to things that they wanted to, that can possibly show personality through a car, they gave this none. It's won no awards. It has no crazy thing.
And it's worth noting that when we talked about, like, a company focusing on the wind tunnel, like, if done right, that should lead to the other.
Right.
Like, if you develop a car that's really amazing in one way, like, so many of us are never taking our cars to the track. Like, I'm taking the Z06 to the track because, like, that's just blasphemous not to do that. But I never took any of my other cars to the track. And, like, most people, no matter what they say in the comments, are not taking their cars to the track. But you know what it is? It's that I get to tell my friend that I could.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I could go to the track, and if I did, this thing has 700 pounds of downforce. Like,
100%.
that is cool.
Yeah.
And so, this car's none of that, like you said. It's, like, not special in, like, any definable way.
Yeah. We're not in high school. We're not doing drag races. You're not going to race an Audi R8 off the line. You and Reginald, like the other dude that owns a comparable car to this, are not going to go out racing on a Friday night. Like, literally, it's just marketing. So, Acura clearly did not have that in mind. They clearly wanted to show their shareholders that they had developed technology that was impressive. And they did. I mean, this was, for the time that it came out, 2016, the hybrid technology in this was groundbreaking. Objectively, it was groundbreaking.
Okay.
What other hybrid supercars were there out that you know, were putting down lap times like this?
You know what it was? You know why this missed the mark? The technology was groundbreaking, but what is groundbreaking for the sake of being groundbreaking? Like, if you're not going to do better than the car that's not groundbreaking, then why do I care if it's groundbreaking?
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's literally the exact type of thing that gets touted in boardrooms, but actually doesn't matter on a track.
Literally.
Yeah. Now, if I'm a Honda shareholder, I'm hearing that and I'm like, oh, you know, hybrid technology.
Yeah.
Probably drives just like a S-Class Mercedes or something. But, like, yeah, they're not actually equating that to, like, is this gonna go and win a stock car race? Is this gonna put down a lap time on a track that's gonna get a nice news article that's actually gonna get these things sold to the people who care about them?
And, you know, we've talked about so many of the cars, especially in the super sedan series, how so many of those cars, like, the things we loved about them were rooted in racing.
Yeah.
You know what this car's not doing? Racing.
No, nobody's racing.
Nobody's racing. Like, you know what the C8 is doing? Racing.
Yeah.
So, I want to touch on the performance of this car a little bit.
Sure.
Twin turbocharged V6 engine with 3 electric motors. I'm sure that you know that. Delivering a combined horsepower of 573 horse, 476 pounds of torque. And in the Type S, 600 horse.
Yeah.
492 feet-pounds of torque. So, you know, like, that's a lot of horsepower. Like this thing should be a little bit better. Like, that's a decent amount of horsepower.
I mean, 600 for something like this, they're putting it down well. Like, this car is incredible off the line. It has a great 0 to 60.
But I need to jump in. I need to jump in there. This car is a 0 to 60. Let's not even talk about price. Just throw that out the window. Money's fake. Do whatever I want with it, right? This car is a 0 to 60 of 3 seconds, right? The C8 Corvette has a 0 to 60 of 2.9 seconds. The C8 Corvette has like 100 horsepower less than this. The C8 Corvette is rear-wheel drive. This is all-wheel drive. The C8 Corvette is all motor. This is hybrid. They've created a way to suck. Like, they've invented a new way to suck. Like, I don't even know how you could do that.
Hybrid and turbocharged.
How? How do you make this worse than a Corvette? That's a feat. We should be taught. That's the award they won here.
Well, compare it to the C7, because this came out in 2016, C7 came out in 2014. Those are kind of a little bit more comparable, and this car is actually not even in production. This car didn't share a production year with the C8.
Yeah, they made this all the way to 2023. First quarter of 2023.
They made like 50 Type S's or whatever it was.
Well, no, they sold 200. I have it right here. 298 of them in 2022, which was more than in 2020 when they sold 128. So we'll get to like production figures, but like the point is, like, this thing was still being produced like fully in 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Okay.
Which were the years that the C8 Corvette was made. It came out in 2020.
Yeah. Well, no wonder they discontinued it.
Yeah.
At least they hid their shame. No, that is embarrassing.
And like, we left La La Land. Where money doesn't matter. This thing still sucks. Let's bring money back into the equation. This thing costs $157,000 MSRP.
Yeah.
C8 Corvette, $60,000. Like, we have these arguments all the time, and we talk about like, oh, if this car was $10,000 cheaper, $15,000, $160,000 to $60,000. That's like, I just want to take a second to think about how mind-boggling of a difference that is.
That's more, I mean, as much as that says about the Acura, that says just as much about the C8. Like, we have to take that thing out of the equation. It's like trying to watch F1 with Max Verstappen. It's like, just go ahead and cover the C8. Like, just the same way you have to cover Max Verstappen being 6 seconds ahead at the top of the speed charts. This thing is comparable to a 911 Turbo.
I was thinking what 911 trim is this comparable to?
Yeah, it's the 911 Turbo. The 911 Turbo is 20,000 more than it, I think. But it's just way faster. You're getting a better experience. You're getting a way faster car.
Getting a Porsche logo.
You're getting a Porsche logo instead of an Acura logo. Yeah, I think that's what says most about this car.
So I want to talk about the sales figures, like we mentioned.
Yeah.
Because I think these are really, really important. 128 of these cars sold in 2020. 128. Not 1,000. 128 vehicles. 124 of these sold in 2021. 298 of these sold in 2020. Big up, boys. 298 cars, right?
Yeah.
2022, the C8 Corvette sold 34,000 cars. That is 140, not 10 times more cars, 9 times more cars, 140 times more cars. Like, I come on here and I hate on Japanese sports cars, and I get it. Like maybe some of that is exaggeration. This thing is wild. This is a whole different category. Don't go watch my Miata video. Don't go watch my 400Z video and be like, oh yeah, he's doing it again. No. This is in a league of its own.
Again, dude, it's Verstappen. You know, he's just going to win. Like, the C8 Corvette is going to win every award for the next 5 years, and I don't know what the hell is going to come out that's going to make us, like, dethrone that car.
But the point is, this could have been that.
That was incredible timing. I don't think we could have timed that any better. Oh my god. Oh shit.
Just crash into a wall. So, under the hood, you've got
that's
this thing was
batteries, and then whatever harnesses for the motors.
Yeah, you got like fans up there.
Yeah.
When I swing over to the other side, you see there are fans up there and stuff like.
Yeah, that's your intercooler probably for your engine, as well as cooling for the batteries and motors.
Yeah. You know what's not there? A frunk.
Yeah, where's the storage on this thing?
In the C8 Corvette. like you'll see in the back, this thing has like absolutely no storage. Has no cup holders.
Good.
It comes with like a little like thing that you like stick on. It's like an add-on,
For and it gives you like grand.
I don't know. It gives you like cup holders. The center console is like tiny. Like dude, this was like a technological advancement that ended up being worse than the old technology.
Yeah, this thing, it's like it was designed by AI. This design is
GPT made
very
this.
human.
Yeah, like that's good.
This design is very human.
That's true.
Like it's it's like, oh, technically there's 12 cubic feet of space in the trunk, but it's all inside of like intercoolers and like in between belts and stuff.
Literally.
It's like not taking into account the fact that your items are not modular.
Literally.
You're not spilling M&Ms into your frunk.
So the interior of this thing, dated.
Yeah.
Dated.
Yeah, it looks like a CTS in the center console.
I think the CTS look better.
You're hating.
Dude, look at that Tamagotchi-like screen in the middle of this. That's ridiculous.
Oh no, not the Tamagotchi.
Like, the steering wheel is whatever. Like, okay, it's decent. Look at the dash behind it. If you watch the videos when that dash is on,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, they couldn't give it gauges.
Interior's trash. The exterior, however, beautiful. I think the car is really, really nice.
I mean, bro, it's like nice for, yeah, it's $160,000. I would hope it's nice looking, but compared to other cars, like I really think they could have gone better on the design.
Yeah, but like look at that. What is that? What do you call that? What do you call the scoop in the back near the door? Like the 4GT has that?
Yeah,
like
it's like an air dam.
Whatever that's called. That I love when cars have that. That's super sick.
This actually isn't my favorite implementation of that. Look at the back, dude.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I like it. Look at that storage space.
That's nothing.
Nothing. But that engine's nice. I'll give you that. That's a sick engine.
Nah, I mean, it looks like a hunk of plastic to me. It looks like the tub that the strawberries come in.
Well, that's what that is under there.
A strawberry?
Yeah, it's just one strawberry. How many strawberry powers does this car have?
Oh my god, dude. I would so much rather have a 1991 Honda NSX than this thing. Genuinely, if money's not an option, I can't sell either of the cars. Like,
really?
Straight up, I take a 91 over this thing. It will make me infinitely happier.
If you crash, you're dead. In the rain, you're gonna just definitely die.
In the rain, I'm gonna have so much fun. In the rain, I'm playing the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift theme song.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's just a failure. It's just a failure. And again, like, I don't just say this because I'm just a hater. I can understand maybe I'm a bit of a hater, but I really do love these cars. I love where they came from. I love the old versions of them, and like I'm just disappointed. And I'm not like, okay. There's something that I have to mention here. There's a specific type of car guy. Specifically, JDM lovers happen to be like this. They're masochists. They are masochists. Like, they enjoy crappy things. They enjoy getting made fun of, and they take pride in cars that suck.
Well, dude, I don't know if the JDM car community is behind this thing. I don't know if gearheads who like tuner cars are glazing this thing, because this is not tunable. It's not budget. Like, there is no aftermarket. It's not, nobody who cares about driving tunable Japanese cars is ever going to even look at this thing.
But my point is, like, they all take the angle that you were taking earlier, which is like, you give me a car that sucks and I have fun explaining to my friends why there's redeemable qualities. Like, I don't know why they like doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all these cars in this series.
Dude, that's just an ignorant take on Japanese cars, though. I think the beauty of Japanese cars
Japanese cars?
On all Japanese cars, it's the same
You can't
vibe.
compare them. They're very different.
Dude,
Old Japanese, old JDM Reborn, different beast completely.
Give me Give me give me a 180SX, which is objectively a terrible car stock, and then give me a Subaru BRZ, both objectively a terrible car stock. One's 30 years older than the other one. They have the same thing about them that I like.
Yeah, but we reviewed the Supra.
Yeah.
Sick car stock.
Yeah.
GTR, sick car stock. The Z's, sick car stock. Especially that twin turbo 300ZX.
Yeah.
Sick. Acura NSX. Sick. Like, these cars are really cool stock. Like, you don't have to have someone defending them. They're just cool. Maybe it's not your thing, but they're just cool.
And you don't think that the modern ones have that same vibe?
No, you have to add things to them. You have to change them. Out of the box, they're worse than their competitors.
I don't know if I agree, man. Like, I think that cars have gone in such a different direction that, like, cars that are still sold in manual, that are still, you know, small displacements and with a turbocharger, I think they bring something different to the table than the cars you're comparing to. You're comparing to, like, a Mustang GT and a Camaro, which are from the factory built to show you big horsepower numbers and give you a fast car experience. These things are just built for something that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but, like, no matter where you go, you're getting beat. If you go driving experience, let's say you go on paper numbers, roll racing, dig racing, like those kinds of track times, American cars got you beat. They're smoking you. Let's say you go like enthusiast driver experience finesse, German cars have you smoked. Like, you can just get a better option from either one of those. Like, a German car is better at that than this.
I don't know if they sell a German car that's, well, then this, let me not talk about, but
yeah.
I don't know if they sell a German car that compares to like a budget Japanese sports car, like, on price, because you're taking like the 400Z and you're comparing that to like an M3.
An M2.
An M2, it's still like 20 grand cheaper.
How much is an M2?
Let's pull it up.
So, the M240i, 49,000.
Mm-hmm. And it's maybe a little bit more than 10 grand better than a 400Z. It's maybe 15, 20 grand better than a 400Z, so it's a little better value in my mind, sure.
Yeah, I just so much rather have that car, and I think it's just better at everything.
Yeah, I think if you take budget and you, like, if you actually take into account that the market for these things are not going to be the same market as an American muscle car, and then you take into account the price point that they're at, there is no competition. So I don't think that you can call something strictly worse if it has no direct competitor.
I think they all do. And I think through this, like, whether it's the Mustang, the Camaro, the C8 Corvette, the M2 40i.
I love that meme. Bro, I just copped this brand new M2 40i.
I think that, like, they've just got to be, and, like, I hear you. I really do hear you. And, like, I just want them to do better, and I hope that in this next generation, like, they give us what we really want. We both really want the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is, like, what did a Japanese sports car used to represent? It used to represent a car that was equally as capable, yet more affordable.
Yeah.
Just-in-time inventory going on behind the scenes, extremely efficient factories. Like, it was to give you more value as the buyer. Like,
yeah.
I just don't know how you can argue that they're still doing that today.
So, to end this on a higher note, I agree with you, and I think what we know about cars throughout history is that when you see competition and one car is explicitly worse, even if it is just in, like, marketing terms, you will see that car and cars like it start to catch up, because there needs to be competition. And we know that competition is coming because we're watching cars like this, like the 400Z and like the Supra, which are really these car companies' best shot at making a competitive sports car. We're watching them fall flat on their faces with sales, and that is not going to go unseen.
They're not going to stand for that. They're not going to stand for that.
So no matter what happens, what direction it goes, and it may not be a horsepower race, because that's what it was in the past, and cars just honestly don't even need that much more horsepower anymore. I hope that it goes a way that makes them uniquely better.
It's the soy lattes, bro. He's
gotta cut back onto the soy lattes. The guy who commented that is hilarious. Hopefully it goes in a way that makes them uniquely better in at least one way, just to maintain that heritage of Japanese cars being incredibly high potential, great value, and just all around really, really fun to drive.
Yeah.
But As for this video, the NSX is the antithesis of all of that. So first, we must destroy that. We're well on our way. This thing's out of production. Clap it up for the NSX going out of production.
Yeah! Woo! No more of these rolling turds on the road. Okay. The glaze score.
Yeah.
First things first. Performance.
Performance. I have 9.
Okay, I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
So we're not that far off. Because I was like, I hate this car, and I was like, wait a second, it actually is kind of good.
Yeah.
Like, it's not amazing compared to the cars next to it, but it's 3 seconds 0 to 60. That's fast. Like
it's a $160,000 hybrid V6 twin turbo car. It's fast. It's gonna be fun to drive.
Yep.
Like, we gotta remember, like, compared to other cars that are going to be on this list, this thing is a monster.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, design. What do you got?
Design, I got a 7. I think it's good. I don't think it's great.
I got an 8.
Cool.
Like, honestly, we're not far off on this car.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it a little bit more than you did. But again, it's like I'm comparing this against every car. It's still nice. I'm hating on it, but it's still nice.
Yep.
Okay. Value, what do you got?
4.
2.
2? Is that the lowest value score we've seen thus far?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I thought long and hard about that because I gave the Miata 3?
Yeah.
No, I gave the Miata more. I think I gave the Supra a 3.
Oh, you gave the Miata a great value score. You gave... No, the Z. You gave the Z a 3.
Okay. So, it's... If this car was $130,000, it would have gotten a little bit better. $160 is egregious. Like, that's absurd.
Yeah.
This is the worst value car we've reviewed yet, in my opinion.
I agree. I definitely agree because I think the other cars were a lot closer than this car is to its competitors. If we just look at it as a percentage based off in like every, spec or facet that you would care about as a normal driver, this is a larger percentage away from the nearest competitor than literally any other car.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay. Perception. What do you got?
Perception, again, same thing with the performance. Like, I don't love this car, but it's objectively a supercar. You drive this thing, you're going to get looks. And if it does have one thing going for it, you never see it.
Rare.
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing. What'd you give it?
8.
I gave it an 8. Literally spot on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like, the car sucks, but it looks crazy. It is a supercar. People are going to see this. And, like you couldn't have said it better. You took the words out of my mouth. You don't see these things. They literally bombed in sales. So if you have one, it's rare. That's the one thing this thing's got going for it.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I think for once, we actually completely agreed on a car.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's how you know, Acura.
You had to make a car that was so bad that we agreed on something. Job well done, Acura.
Clap it up, Acura.
Clap it up. Clap it up. All right, guys. Well, with that said, that's the Acura NSX.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.